The 2026 World Cup is going to look a lot different than the one we just saw in 2022 because there are going to be 48 teams that are going to this World Cup for the first time. It is the first World Cup expansion in over 20 years, and it provides an opportunity for a lot of new and interesting teams to make it. But how are they going to make it? How are the spots allocated? Where are they going to play? How are they going to play? You can't do it with 14 groups, or can you? Well, fortunately, the man with the maybe funny accent, depending on where you're coming from, has the answers. Because he read at a first grade level. If you don't know how a World Cup works, teams qualify for the World Cup out of each continent. The continents that are relevant, or all of them now, which would be Asia, South America, North America, Central America, and the Caribbean, Africa, Oceania, and oh yeah, Europe. Each one of these continents has received additional qualification spots in the expansion to 48. The most significant is Africa. Africa has gone from 5 qualification spots to 9 qualification spots with an additional playoff spot, which means there could be 10 African teams going to the World Cup. Asia has also expanded by 4, going from 4 to 8, and has received an additional qualification spot. So there could be up to 9 Asian teams at the World Cup, which actually isn't as crazy as it sounds. There were already 6 at this World Cup because of the host, and Australia won its intercontinental playoff. And then 3 of those teams made the knockouts, so Asia actually had a really good World Cup. CONCACAF has expanded from 3 automatic spots to 6 and gets 2 playoff spots. I don't know why we get more playoff spots than everybody else, but we do. CONMEBOL, which is South America, has gone from 4 automatic spots to 6 automatic spots with an additional playoff spot, so there could be up to 7 teams from South America, and there's only 10 that qualify from there. Oceania has received a full qualification spot for the first time and will not have to go through a playoff, which basically is New Zealand's ticket to the tournament every 4 years. And it will also receive a playoff spot. So there will be a Solomon Islands of Vanuatu, a Tahiti, a Fiji that will be playing in World Cup playoffs. And Europe gains 3 additional spots, going from 13 to 16. No playoff spot from Europe. It's the only one that doesn't have one. You math geniuses out there have probably figured out this means that Europe's going to make up less of the World Cup than it used to. It used to make up 40% of the World Cup. Now only 33% of the World Cup is going to be European. Cool. As somebody non-European, great. We're not trying to figure out who the best team in Europe is. That's what the Euros is for. Look, I know a lot of great teams are in Europe, and even if you expanded it to 16 this year, Italy still wouldn't have made it. North Macedonia would have. Pasta is down bad. So if you're trying to make it in out of Europe, it's going to be a close shave. Maybe Italy should have used Manscaped. Our longtime sponsor of this channel, Manscaped, is a fantastic choice for your men's grooming needs. A happy new year to you from Manscaped. And just because the ball is officially dropped doesn't mean you need to drop the ball on taking care of your balls. And they really can help you take care of that New Year's resolution to bring sexy back. Do I look like Timberlake? And you can join the 7 million men worldwide that use Manscaped with the link at the top of the description to get 20% off and free shipping and fabulous Manscaped products. I mean, how do you think that I am always so naturally hairless? Right now, the top of the market is the Performance Package 4.0, which has provided about half of the boxer briefs that I currently own. I'm wearing some right now. Very aerodynamic. You get the Lawnmower 4.0, which comes with skin-safe technology to cut down on those nips and cuts, and you've got an LED light for proper aiming, because aim is important. Boxer briefs are anti-chafing, too. Very breathable. You can even get some Manscaped body wash, so you can smell like me. It's a little creepy, honestly. So get 20% off and free shipping with the link at the top of the description. And thank you to Manscaped for being a longtime sponsor of this channel and close shaves. But if the point of the tournament's to figure out the best team in the world while giving each area of the world the ability to at least participate, looking at you, Oceania. We're just really excited to be here. Then this format change is cool, but there are a couple of important questions that need to be answered. First of all, there are 3 teams hosting this World Cup. It'll be the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Now, it's mostly the United States, but Mexico gets 3 venues in Mexico City, Monterrey, and Guadalajara. Canada gets 2 in Vancouver and Toronto. Well, the US has 11, but all 3 teams will be given automatic bids to the World Cup. And this means 3 of CONCACAF's bids gone. There are only 3 more automatic qualifying spots left from CONCACAF. As for how those teams are going to qualify, that is still up in the air. CONCACAF, Africa, and Oceania have not announced how they're actually going to qualify their teams. Europe will be announcing that in January, but there are expected to be smaller qualifying groups to allow European scheduling of Nation League matches. I don't know why they would lessen qualifying for that, but that is actually, yeah. That's according to L'Equipe, which I had to translate into English, so it just says the team. But South America is going to be qualifying the same way it always has, everybody in the same group, and Asia has introduced a new and scintillating round of complex qualification stuff that I'm sure I'll take you through in a video a year or two from now. It's on the Wikipedia page, it's very convoluted, and it involves 5 different rounds. But the one part we know for sure of the qualification process that will play a part in everybody's mind is this 6-team qualification playoff that will captivate the world's attention for a day or two. Now, this consists of 1 team from every federation except for UEFA and 1 extra team from the continent that has a host or hosts, which in this case, of course, as I mentioned, is CONCACAF. You put all 6 teams in a pot, and then you pick out the top 2 teams that qualified for the playoff based off world ranking. Those 2 teams get a bye, and the other 4 teams are the unseeded teams that get drawn randomly against each other. The winners of the 2 unseeded games play one of the 2 seeded teams, and the winner of that match gets a spot to the World Cup finals. And that brings us to the tournament itself, which has 48 teams. Now, FIFA initially proposed a plan to deal with this, and that is 3-team groups, where you play only 2 games, and then the top 2 teams out of that 3-team group advances. This has been in my favorite game, Football Manager, for a long time. As you can see here, it's rather fun to watch and simulate and enjoy, but it does offer up the unfortunate situation where a final match can be played between 2 teams that just need a draw to advance, and they could kind of collude to do it. Arsene Wenger came out during the previous World Cup and said that they weren't completely set at FIFA on a 3-team group system. That was still being determined, and honestly, they do have like 3 years to figure this out. The other option would be actually playing in groups of 4 anyways, but you would adopt a system that's used in the Asian Cup, the AFCON, which is the Africa Cup of Nations, and in the Euros, which is you promote 3rd place finishing teams. Because with a 48-team World Cup, we will get a knockout round of 32, which is 16 extra knockout matches at the World Cup. If you add that on top of having groups of 4, I can understand their apprehension of making this tournament last for a month and a half at least. But the issues with groups of 3 are obvious and could always lead to accusations of collusion. It's between a rock and a hard place, and I don't envy the person that has to make the decision, although I'm sure they will follow the money and eventually go to 4-team groups, which offers more matches being played. In which case, half of the 3rd place finishing teams would qualify, and the way this happens in other tournaments, if you're not aware, you take all of the 3rd place teams and then you put them in one table. So say you're a 3rd place team that finishes with 4 points, you're going to be in. But a 3rd place team that finishes with 2 points, probably not going to be in, right? Because they're not going to be in the top half of 3rd place finishing teams. This creates parity and drama, and it's very hard to rig results to make sure that you get through in this type of system. And this is followed by the best piece of news. This is the shortest wait between World Cups in 70 years. 72. Ish. That is because this World Cup finished in December, and you only have to wait until June 8th of 2026 in order for the next World Cup to start. That's significantly less than the normal exact 4-year wait time. Congratulations. And a lot of amazing stuff is going to happen between then and now to determine the 48-team field that will be participating in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And I, for one, am picking Curacao to get out of CONCACAF. That's my crazy pick. But now that you know what's going to be happening, you can follow the qualification journey with me. I always do qualification update videos whenever the opportunity presents itself. Now, this is relevant, guys. The World Cup qualification is going to start next year. The next World Cup starts next year. An alarming thought, but honestly, most of the matches are like Bhutan against Sri Lanka. I will still be here watching them as a man of passion, man of determination, as a man of ball. You haven't lived until you've seen Bhutan Stadium. Seriously, it's like in a Buddhist monastery. Look at this. It's one of the coolest stadiums in the world, and I watched a match there. If you want to know why I believe a 48-team World Cup is actually a good idea, separate from FIFA's obvious monetary motivations that are just annoying and drive everything, that is the video that I'm going to link right up here. So you can continue your binge-watching extraordinaire that I am sure you're on. I promise you, you don't need to move a muscle. Just keep rolling.